Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
They got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're doing commentary on the case.
Is that correct?
Dati mihi Anglican, please, verbal slapina.
That's literally not true.
Oh, for crumb's sake. I didn't ask you to interrupt me.
Welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. We are about to return to court with Judge Teep, who's handling some docket issues right now. You can see we're handling
I understand that, but again, as he stands here today, he does still enjoy the presumption of innocence. So while I understand that it's kind of a big picture that I have to look at, I have to presume that he's innocent of the allegations in this case. I look at his prior record; he has very little prior record. Understanding the mental health issues after reading the reports, I get it. That's why what they're requesting is that I release him from the jail and put him into the Lindner Center for treatment.
Okay, so we're gonna let that play out here. We'll be joining them in just a minute as he returns to our court case. Let's see. Welcome. I have to say a big fat welcome to Kim R. Not that came out wrong. Like it's a huge welcome, Kim. I apologize. Can I just rewind? Kim, will you please forgive me? A huge welcome. A huge welcome. I've got away with words. This is going to live forever. I'm sorry. Kim, you're here. Can I just say I ate way too much for lunch? Like, I feel like I'm going to burst. I made some chili, and then I found scratch that, yeah. And then I found the seasoning that has the what is it? The Flatiron Pepper Company, pepper seasoning. And I ate all the chili. I ate every last speck of it. Kim, first in chat, welcome. Thank you very much for being here. I love you, man. Kim, I'm so sorry. Welcome. Send us to internet ownership. I need like an afternoon nap to sleep this one off.
We'll do ultimately what this court is asking her to do.
That's something else. Hang on. I want chili now. It was so good. Kim, I just want to start over. Can we go back to this part? Let's see. Here we go. There we go. Let's just start over here, and we'll go back here, and we'll just no, we won't. I'm sorry. I've just completely messed that up. I'm feeling fat, Kim. Please take the internet for me. That's it. All right. Enough pointing out my. Yeah, there's no redo on live. From now on, we're just going to do pre-recorded videos. Kelly H, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you. That is hilarious. Where's Kim? Kim said nothing. Kim, where are you? Please forgive me. Anyway, we're all starting over. We're going to be going back to court here in just a minute. She said, oh, thank you, Kim. You know me. I am so sorry. There it is. Kim, thank you. I appreciate it. Kim with the Dolphins. It's great. You guys are brutal. I made a mistake and I realized how bad it was, but it's now I'm humiliated and ashamed. All right. Kim's too busy with tech support. Is this standing court today? No, it's not. Hold on one second. Is it not working? It's just not connecting at all. Let me go to court really quickly so we can see what happens. We're not yet to our trial. They're still dealing with this other issue. They're trying to figure it out. It's the right prosecutor, but you can see our investigators in back. Oh, now you can see. Give me a second to reconnect this, the YouTube connections. YouTube off. Everything's broken. Refresh. YouTube on. Everything should be fixed. Refresh. Should give out the internet again if that worked properly. At least first chatter. It looks like it's working. Like partially. Too many refresh requests. Ah, so now it's my fault. See how that is? Chatbot started successfully. Okay, the seats are working, but still saying that the chats are not live. Weird. All right, we'll run with that as long as it's working. All right. Let's see, Kim. Thank you. You're a little behind. I'm so sorry. Welcome. Thank you for being here, Kim. The internet is all yours. Our court watcher today is Legally Blonde in the courtroom. We're just waiting for. Do you want the audio on? Yes. Judge says yes. Turn the audio on. Oh no, we're off the record apparently. We're waiting for audio. Man, the chili was so good. I ate way too much of it. Our people are back up front. I think they're doing jury instructions. That's the truth, purple coconut. Not sure exactly what's going on here. Still no audio. I'd love to hear what happened here. All right. Making it chili for dinner. Okay. Chili is great for dinner. I highly recommend it. I like chili for pretty much everything but breakfast.
When are we going to break for lunch, Judge?
But I don't... I don't recommend eating it without the best spice in the world. So if you like chili, you probably like a little bit of heat. Okay, and I'm on that assumption, let me share something with you. I'm going to get you just a quick link to what I think is the best chili seasoning ever. Okay, I just put it in chat. Best pepper flakes ever. They are incredible. The flavor, just unbelievable. Judge, can you turn the mics on for us, please? The defendant's here, so. Beans in the chili. I actually did 2 cans of chili. I did open a can of chili. Turn the sound on, Judge. Please turn the sound on. This could be a short trial if we don't get any sound. I did 1 with beans, 1 without. So I mixed the 2. Defense is about to question our witness. Oh, we got
All
sound.
right,
Here
Trooper,
we
come
go.
on back up.
Here we go. They fixed it.
And you are still under oath.
Yes, sir.
I'll see. All right, Mr. Angle, you may cross.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Trooper.
Good afternoon.
You said you graduated from the academy 10 years ago?
Yes, September 30th, 2015.
Okay. And while you were
Well,
at...
I apologize. March 3rd, 2016.
Okay.
I started on the 30th.
And so while you're there, you were taught the core values of Highway Patrol.
Correct.
What are those?
I don't know all of them offhand right now.
Okay, they made you repeat them at the academy, right?
1,000 times.
Yeah, so adaptability, that's one of them.
Correct.
Okay, attention to detail.
Yep.
Diversity. Family.
Yep.
Honesty.
Yes.
Officer safety.
Yes.
Performance driven.
Possibly.
Possibly.
They've changed also since I was there, so I'd have to see if performance driven is on there.
Okay. Sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And team oriented.
Yeah.
Is that there? I want to drill down on attention to detail. What does that mean?
Making sure that you've dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's.
And while you're at the academy, you learned about report writing too?
Correct.
You learned it was important to put every important fact in your report?
Correct.
Okay. I think they still teach you if it's not in the report, it didn't happen?
They teach you to write your reports thoroughly.
Okay. And didn't some instructor tell you if it's not in the report, it didn't happen?
I don't know that was ever told to me exactly.
Okay. They don't teach that anymore?
I don't know.
Okay. But you tried it when you write your
10
report.
years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I said they might have said that, but it was 10 years ago. I don't know verbatim.
Okay. But they did teach you do remember it was important to include every important detail in the report.
I think that good report writing has all the details that you can.
Did you learn about crime scenes at the academy?
We didn't do an actual crime scene class like they have up there. You can go up there for basic investigators course, but we do some crime scenes, like a lot more oriented towards like crashes and basic crime scenes.
Okay. But you've had training in how to deal with crime scenes, right?
Sure.
Okay. So on December 19th, you get behind a car, right? It's a Taurus, was it? Or a Honda?
A Honda.
A Honda. And who owned that Honda?
I'd have to look at the registration. I believe that it was Molly's, the driver.
Okay. And you're familiar with Molly, right?
Familiar?
Yeah. You know her, right? You knew her before this incident.
I've never met her before this incident.
Okay. But you were aware of her.
I was aware of her.
Okay. You were aware, for example, that she was a convicted felon and unable to be in the vicinity of firearms.
Correct.
Okay. And you were aware that she had, and in your car, by the way, is it OLEG in your car? What do you have access to for people's records?
Leads.
Leads. So you can pull up people's criminal records there, right?
We could, yeah.
Okay.
Well, not the
say
criminal
OLEG?
record, driving record.
Okay. Do you have access to people's criminal records?
No, I would have to contact dispatch.
Okay. But you were aware before you stopped this car that Molly had a felony conviction.
Correct.
And that she couldn't have guns.
Mm-hmm.
And were you aware what that conviction was for?
I believe it was for drugs.
Okay, drug trafficking in particular, right?
Drug trafficking, okay.
Okay, and you were also aware that she had a prior conviction for weapons under disability?
I was probably aware of that at the time.
Okay, so, and you didn't know Mr. Abney, though, before this, right?
His name has been brought up as a close associate with Molly.
Okay, a close associate, so someone who was with her at times, right?
With her a lot of the time is
Okay,
what
so
I was under the understanding of.
A fiance would be a close associate?
I would say that.
Okay, and you were aware, by the way, that Molly had been tracked selling drugs to a confidential informant on December 10th, 9 days before this incident?
I was aware that she was selling drugs. I don't know the date. I wasn't on that operation.
Okay, but you do work with the drug task force, right?
Correct, I do.
And you work with them all the time?
A lot of the time.
Okay, every day that you work?
No. So they do different operations, and we will typically go work the road. If they need us for something, then we'll go and help them out. If we need them for something, then they help us out.
Okay, but you were aware, based on your conversations with them, that Molly had been involved in a drug trafficking operation on December 10th?
If there's an operation, or if there was an operation, I did probably know about it, and so I got the operation, the op plan for it.
Okay, you would have reviewed the surveillance log out of that, maybe?
No.
Okay. Now, so when you're pulling over this car, or behind this car, your intent was to pull it over, right?
This vehicle?
Yeah. So now we're talking about December 19th, right?
Okay. Yes. On December 19th, yes, I was called and asked to make a traffic stop on this vehicle.
Okay. So you get behind the car and you're waiting for a traffic violation.
Oh, it was as soon as I got up behind the vehicle, I observed the traffic violation.
Which is what you were hoping for.
Hoping for?
Yeah. You were told to pull over this car, right?
Correct.
And so you need a traffic violation to pull over this car.
Yeah.
So you were going to follow this car as long as it took until you saw a traffic violation.
Who told him to pull it over?
How long? An hour you're going to follow it for?
An hour?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. What's the longest you followed a car in order to find a traffic violation?
I don't know the exact time, how long I've followed a car to get a traffic violation for.
But you knew this car, when you got behind it, was driven by Molly Wilson.
I did not know for sure that it was driven by Molly Wilson.
You knew it was owned by Molly.
I knew that it was owned by Molly.
Okay, the convicted felon.
Correct.
With drug dealing history, who had been involved in a trafficking operation a few days before.
Yes.
Okay. And you were hoping that when you pulled her over, you would find drugs in the car.
We were under the assumption that she was coming from picking up drugs.
And when you did your report, the first suspect that you list was Molly Wilson, right?
Correct.
Kells Bells, thank you very much. OG, 21
So
months.
now you get up to this car and you
Don't do
walk
math.
up to it, right? And on the passenger side.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
15
And
drugs.
Miss
Thank you very
Wilson,
much. Welcome.
reaches into the glove box, and you observe a gun.
Yes.
Okay. This raises officer safety concerns, obviously, right?
Correct.
And so you ask everyone, you grab the gun and take it out, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now at that point, I think you had said you knew that Molly was a convicted felon who couldn't have a gun.
Yes, I did.
So you put her under arrest at that moment, right, for weapons under disability?
I asked her to exit the vehicle at that point. She was not placed under arrest at that point.
No, the person you ended up putting handcuffs on was Mr. Abney, right?
Deputy Bill Meyer actually had control of Molly at the time.
Okay.
And I was standing right there.
Was she? I couldn't see on the tape. Was she handcuffed?
She does get handcuffed after he makes the admission.
But so the only person when you're there standing at the driver's side and you see the gun that you know has committed a crime is Molly.
Can you please say that again?
Sure. You're standing there. Let me set the scene, right? You're standing there at the driver's side of the car.
Mm-hmm.
You see the gun, right?
Correct.
Within the reach of someone who you know is a convicted felon,
Right.
who is not Mr. Abney, it's Molly.
Okay.
Okay? And so the first thing you do then is not place Molly under arrest, but keep investigating Mr. Abney.
Are you saying what the first thing that I did?
Yeah,
The first thing that I did was secured the weapon.
Okay, and then you ask Mr. Abney for his identification.
I asked for Miss Wilson to exit the vehicle because Deputy Billmeyer was right there.
Okay. Now, so we've got a crime that's occurred with this vehicle, right?
Correct.
So this vehicle's a crime scene.
Okay.
Your training is to be very careful with the crime scene, right?
Yep.
You don't want to disturb it
Yeah.
any more than necessary for officer safety or anything.
Mhm.
You're not supposed to move evidence around to the crime scene, right?
You would have to move it around, take photos, and to collect it as evidence.
Okay, and then, but I was confused because you manipulated it, right? You moved it one place and you put it back and took pictures.
Right. I put the weapon back in the where it was located and took a photo of it.
Is that standard procedure of how you protect a crime scene?
How I protect a crime scene?
Yeah.
Oh, for officer safety, the weapon needed to be moved.
Okay, but
I
the
moved
drugs
the
didn't
weapon.
need to be moved for officer safety, right?
Well, I didn't know exactly where the drugs were or what was the drugs.
Okay. You didn't know whose drugs they were.
Mr. Abney stated that they were his drugs and that they were underneath the seat.
Okay, and what did you do to corroborate that statement?
To check?
Yeah, just tell you, I mean, you run into people all the time on the road, right?
Sure.
And they tell you things all the time, right?
People tell you things, yeah.
Yeah, and they sometimes don't tell you the truth.
Correct.
For various reasons, right? They may want to get out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
They may want to keep someone else from getting in trouble.
Sure.
So it's important as a law enforcement officer that you attempt to find out whether what people said to you was true, right?
To get to the bottom of something, sure.
Okay, so Mr. Abney says, these are my drugs and my guns. I'm asking you, what did you do to find out if that statement was true?
We made sure that the scene was safe, everyone was secured, placed in our vehicles, talked to them. And then, yeah, I did look underneath the seat and I saw that there was the bag, which I could see or feel, and the crystal substance. At that point, took a photo and then pulled it out.
Okay, I mean, no, so just so we're clear, no one's doubting that that this bag you saw had drugs in it, okay? I want to know what you did to determine whether the drugs belonged to Mr. Abney or Molly Wilson.
What I did?
Yeah, what did you do?
He stated that before anything was even spoken about drugs, he stated, these drugs are my drugs.
Okay.
The pound of meth is at my feet. That and the gun is mine.
Okay, and what did you do to determine whether or not those statements were true and accurate?
I brought them back to the Warren County Sheriff's Office, and they were interviewed by detectives.
Did you personally do anything to be sure that the statement that Mr. Abney gave you was true?
I brought them back to the Warren County jail, where they were interviewed by detectives.
Okay, so you didn't do anything, right? Other than transport them?
Correct. They were transported to the detectives who interviewed them.
Okay, and in fact, if we look at the lab report that came back, after you secured the evidence, right?
Yes.
And so you're in the, what we call the chain of custody for the evidence?
I don't know if I would be on their chain of custody. I gave it directly to our lieutenant who was on scene.
Okay. And it says in the lab report, what is the name there of the subject who was being investigated?
Molly Wilson.
Okay. And have you seen this lab report before?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware Mr. Abney's name is on this report anywhere?
I'm not aware that it is.
So let me see if I got this right. You've got a crime scene here now where you've got drugs and guns, right?
Okay, yeah.
And it's important to know whose drugs they are, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because you knew you might have to come into court like you would today in a trial for Mr. Abney where he's accused of having possession of the drugs.
After he made admissions stating that the drugs were his.
Right, and so you knew you might have to come into court and have to testify like this, right?
Right, so I brought him to the detectives to do a formal interview.
You brought him to detectives. So are you aware, well, let me back up. You've had training in drug interdiction, right?
Yeah.
And as part of drug interdiction, it's often a question about who possesses drugs, right?
Sure.
Okay. And there are certain things you can do to prove whether someone's actually the person who owns the drugs, right?
Such as what?
Well, just off the top of my head, I've heard of this thing called fingerprints. What are fingerprints?
What are
Yeah,
fingerprints?
what are fingerprints? How are they used in law enforcement?
The Highway Patrol, I have never fingerprinted anything. I've never dusted for fingerprints, if that's what you're saying.
But you've heard of this new technology called dusting for fingerprints, right?
I've seen it on CSI. I've never done it.
Okay, you've heard of other law enforcement officers doing it.
Sure.
Okay, and it's been done for, I don't know, over 100 years, right?
Okay.
Probably longer.
I don't know how long it's been.
So did you check this bag of drugs for fingerprints to see whose bag it might be?
No.
Okay. Now the crime lab, you're familiar with the Highway Patrol crime lab, right?
Sure.
They've done fingerprint analysis before, haven't they?
I don't know if the crime lab does them. I know that our investigators might.
Okay.
I've seen them do that.
And sometimes you can check for DNA too, right, on things? People, when they touch things, they leave DNA samples. You've been trained about that, right?
Sure.
Okay. Did you check or obtain DNA samples from the bag or Mr. Abney or Miss Wilson to see whose drugs they were?
I did not. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know if anyone did?
I don't know that anybody.
Do you know if anyone dusted this crime scene in the car for fingerprints to see whose fingerprints were on this bag?
No, I don't believe that anybody dusted the vehicle for fingerprints.
Or dusted this bag, right?
Or that bag.
That would give us the answer, right? If Mr. Abney, it was his drugs, his fingerprints would be on it probably, right?
Possibly.
Did someone tell you not to do that?
No. But also anybody else's fingerprints could be on that bag. It looks like a generic grocery bag from a grocery store.
But we don't know the answer to that question because you guys didn't dust for fingerprints at this crime scene.
No, we did not dust for fingerprints at this crime scene.
What about drug residue, right? You would expect to find residue of drugs on this bag?
Maybe the inside?
Okay, well, isn't it common, based on your training in drug interdiction, for there to be, when you're transporting drugs, residue of those drugs that get on bags and people's fingers and things like that?
I suppose there could be.
And that's part of your training, is that often happens, right?
Well, that's why we wear gloves.
Okay, that's why you wear gloves, because you don't want to get the residue of the drugs on your fingerprints.
Correct.
On your fingers. But if Mr. Abney had possessed the drugs, he would have residue of those drugs on his fingers, right? Possibly, right?
Possibly.
And if he did, that would tell us that maybe it was his bag. So, of course, you tested for the residue on his fingers, right?
No, the Highway Patrol doesn't test any residues.
Okay, but
for safety.
I'm just asking a yes or no question. Was that done? So you guys, as a policy, don't check for residue.
We do not test any drugs for residue for officer safety.
Okay, but you could have checked his finger. How would checking his fingers be an officer safety issue?
Well, we don't have any drug residue test kits.
Okay, but these things exist. You guys
They
just
do
choose
exist.
not to use them.
As a policy, correct.
Okay. What about, did he check for drug residue on his clothing? I mean, you could have taken his clothing and sent that to the lab to test. Did you do that?
We didn't check his clothing for drug residue.
Did he check any of his personal property for drug residue?
No.
You've also been part of your training told that drugs sometimes have a specific chemical composition, right?
I know that drugs do have a drug composition. That's how they are created.
And in fact, we just discussed before that Molly had been involved in a trafficking issue with a drug task force. Did you compare the drugs from this case with the drugs from that other case?
I don't know if that was done or not.
Did you find any personal items in that bag?
No.
Did you find anything in that bag to indicate that it belonged to Mr. Abney?
No, in that bag was another Ziploc bag with the drugs.
And nothing else, though?
No.
By the way, what did you guys do with the car? Right, so Mr. Abney was taken to the drug task force. Was Molly taken there too?
Neither of them were taken to the drug task force. They were taken to the Warren County jail or the office and interviewed at the jail.
Okay. They were taken from the scene, right?
Correct.
So did you leave the car there?
No, it was, I believe, towed or driven to the task force.
Okay, so you made the stop, so it was your responsibility to tow the car?
No, it was the Warren County Drug Task Force's investigation, so they took care of it.
Okay, did they inventory the car?
That'd be a question for them.
Okay, so you don't know if the car was inventoried?
No, I don't know if they inventoried it.
Okay, the prosecutor asked if you did a search of the entire car, right?
We searched the car.
Okay,
yes.
did you document everything that you found in the car?
We didn't document everything that was found in the car, no.
Okay, even though this is a crime scene, you're supposed to document everything you find at the crime scene, right?
No, not necessarily.
You're not trained to document everything you see at a crime scene?
I don't need to document everything that's not pertinent to this.
Okay, but this is part of a drug trafficking investigation too, right? And as part of drug trafficking, in your training, you were taught to look for other indicators about whether a person is just trafficking drugs or possessing drugs, right?
Correct. It's well over a user level amount.
Okay, but there are other things you're taught that are indicators that someone's engaged in drug trafficking, right?
Such as?
Well, such as you were taught to look for a drug trafficker would have scales often in their cars, right?
Not necessarily.
But they might. That would be an indicator, right, that they're a drug trafficker if they had a scale, right?
They might.
They would have lots of baggies sometimes, right?
They could.
They sometimes would have a ledger of their people that they're selling and buying from.
They could.
They could. It's not that they could. You were trained that this is one in drug interdictions, things you're supposed to look for, right?
Things to look for, yes.
Okay. So when you searched the car, you were looking for indicators that this was a drug trafficker, right?
Did they have a big sign that says drugs for sale here?
If there was anything
be a sign?
present, then they would have been noted. Correct.
Okay. And so you didn't, so just so we're clear, what you're telling us is you didn't find anything in that car that was besides this one pack of drugs here that indicates that there was drug trafficking going on.
A lot of the ledgers and things that you are speaking of are not used as much anymore, would be on their phones. And I do believe that both phones their phones are probably taken by the Warren County Drug Task Force and downloaded.
Okay, we're going to talk about the phones in a second. I want to know what you did, right? Did you personally find in that car any other evidence to support the conclusion that this was a drug trafficking situation?
Well over the prescribed bulk amount of drugs.
Okay, we got that, right? I said, besides that, is there any single piece of evidence that you found in that car that suggests that this was drug trafficking?
No other evidence.
So let me see if I sum up. You got no other evidence that this is drug trafficking, and you got no other evidence that ties this to Mr. Abney other than his statement. Did I sum up your testimony correctly?
A random utterance before anything about drugs was ever spoken. He tells us that all of this drugs and the guns are his, and the gun is his.
Okay, I get that, right? I get it, right? You're there at the scene, a guy confesses, you think you know he's got an open and closed case, right?
Okay.
What if he hadn't said that? What would you have done to show that it was his drugs?
I would have taken them back to the Warren County, and they would have been interviewed by detectives.
And then he would have confessed. And we would be in the same situation.
Now, he had a phone on him, right?
I do believe he had a phone.
Okay, and he took that phone. You took that phone from him then?
Correct.
And was an analysis done of that phone?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know if there were any text messages found that indicated his consistent with possession or trafficking drugs?
I don't know.
Can you sit here and tell the jury that there were any call logs that were found that were consistent with trafficking on those phones?
No, I don't know.
Can you tell the jury whether there were any social media posts or communications that were consistent with drug possession or trafficking by Mr. Abney?
No, I don't know.
So in other words, this phone was taken, but you can't tell the jury a single thing about what was on that phone?
No, the investigation was taken by the Warren County Drug Task Force. The detective would have a better knowledge of that.
So as you sit here today, you don't know anything about that?
I don't know about that, no.
I think you found some money on him, right?
I'd have to watch the video again. I think he had a couple of ones, a small amount of money was put back into his possession.
$11.
A large amount of money is consistent with drug trafficking based on your training and experience, right?
Not if you just bought a large amount of drugs, right?
Did you find a large amount of money on, you didn't find a large amount of money on Mr. Abney?
No.
Now, you've mentioned his statement a number of times. Now, based on your training, you're aware that sometimes people will, I think we said before, make statements to you that aren't true in order to protect someone, right?
People do make some statements to protect other people, I guess, in different occasions.
Okay, so it's true based on your training and experience that people will sometimes confess to crimes they didn't commit in order to protect a loved one.
I don't know that I've ever been trained on that, but I could see that being the case.
Okay, so did you ask Mr. Abney whether he was taking responsibility in order to protect Molly?
No, he was asked multiple times, and he admitted multiple times that it was his and that everything was his.
Do you know if anyone else suggested that confessing might help reduce charges or prevent Molly from being charged?
I don't know that that was the case. You'd have to ask the detectives at the interview room.
He seemed kind of, at least to me on the tape, emotionally distressed, right?
Emotionally distressed?
Yeah, he seemed pretty emotional. He was calling out to her that he loved her, right?
He did say that.
Okay. And he did that multiple times?
Yeah.
Okay. And so did that raise any concerns in your mind that perhaps he was giving you false information in order to protect her?
At the time, no. I believe that as before like I said, before anything was spoken about drugs or the weapon at that point, he got out of the vehicle saying that everything was his and that this is all mine.
Yeah, we've heard that, right? The point of my questions, I'm not arguing with you about that. We all heard it on the tape. Mm-hmm. What I want to know is what you did to corroborate that statement. And so far, I think your testimony is nothing, right?
Well, I took him back to the Warren County jail.
You took him back for somebody else's problem, right?
They were interviewed by detectives who were trained, and this was their investigation. They took it further.
But attention to detail. You're supposed to be responsible for all the details at that scene, right?
For some, I was a part of the investigation.
Right. This is your traffic stop. You decided to pull them over, right? You decided to approach the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your core value is attention to detail. So I want to know in a detailed manner what you did so that you could come and tell this jury, I'm sure that what he told me was true.
Yeah, I collected the evidence. It was handed over to the Warren County Drug Task Force. Both suspects were driven to the jail, and they were interviewed by trained detectives.
Okay, so your attention to detail was to give it to somebody else.
To collect the evidence and hand it off to them. Correct. That was my role.
Now, I heard on the tape you called in the numbers for the guns. Why did you do that?
The serial numbers?
Yeah.
To check for if they're stolen.
Yeah, and they weren't stolen, were they?
I don't believe either of them came back stolen.
Okay. In fact, the reason we have serial numbers on guns is so you can trace who owns them.
Like an E-trace?
However you do it, right?
Correct, but those are, I mean, they can be run. I believe the Drug Task Force would probably run that. However, after the gun is bought by from a store or whatnot, they can become hard to find the actual owner because you can sell it to anybody else and it doesn't have to be reported.
Okay. Sometimes, I remember last time I bought a gun, I had to fill out all this information.
Did you buy it at a store?
Yeah, I bought it at Cabela's.
You can buy it from a person though.
Okay. But it's
back and
possible, but you don't
forth.
know where they got those guns
I
from,
bought
right?
it at Cabela's.
Correct.
Not
I
a
do not
sponsor. Now
'Cause you didn't
Bass
ask.
Pro Shops.
I didn't ask.
Okay. And so what efforts did you make to find out who was the legal owner of those guns?
I brought them back to the Warren County Jail and they were interviewed by detectives.
I get that, man. You said that like 17 times. I want to know what you did to find out who was the rightful owner of those guns.
Both guns were handed over to the Warren County Drug Task Force.
So
for their
you personally
investigation.
didn't do anything?
Not for those guns, no.
Are you aware as you sit here today that anyone did anything to find out who was the rightful owner of those guns?
I don't know what their next steps were. And they weren't reported stolen, so I would assume that they were their firearms.
But now you're making assumptions. You've been trained not to make assumptions in your investigations, I know, right?
He said that it was his firearm.
Okay, so you just assumed he was telling you the truth, and that was the end of all the work you did with the guns?
No, I brought both the suspects back to the Warren County Jail where they were interviewed by detectives.
Defense hates that line. No, the next step was get them interviewed for further investigation.
Does the Highway Patrol have a policy about car inventories?
Vehicle inventories?
Yeah.
We typically inventory vehicles for our investigations.
But that wasn't done in this case to the best of your knowledge. Nobody inventoried that car to your knowledge.
I gave the vehicle was given over to the Warren County Drug Task Force.
Okay. Did you see the Drug Task Force do an inventory of that car?
I did not see them do the inventory.
One of the guns was found in a compartment in the car, right? The hidden, like a hidden compartment behind the glove box. Am I getting that right?
It was behind the glove box.
Okay. Did you develop any evidence during the course of your investigation that Mr. Abney knew that there was a gun in that secret compartment?
Me personally?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. And this was not his car, right?
Not his car, correct.
In fact, when we look at the laboratory report on the handguns, you've seen this too, right? That'll be easy. You've seen that report, right?
I have not seen this one, but I see it now.
Okay, you're familiar with these types of reports, though, right?
I've seen some similar. We don't use the exact same ones.
We don't get to see because the judge is busy.
That's the subject of this report.
Molly Wilson.
Okay, and I'm gonna, may I approach you, Honor?
Yes.
I'm gonna hand you the report. You tell this jury whether Mr. Abney's name is mentioned anywhere in this report.
Spoiler alert, if he's asking the question, it's probably not. It's pretty.
Mr. Abney's name is not on this report.
It's a pretty bold defense there to be taking this approach when your client literally confessed was in possession of firearms and a pound of meth.
Can I have one moment?
Yes.
It's a bold choice.
I have no other questions. Thank you, Chief.
Any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
I want to hear who told you to pull him over. What were the circumstances there?
Trooper Valentine, in your experience, how many people have you pulled over where you've ultimately searched their vehicle and located drugs in their car?
I don't have the exact number, but many, over 100.
And how many of those people, upon initially pulling them out for a search, for whatever the reason the search was, maybe they didn't have a license and you were going to search their vehicle, how many of those people volunteered, I have a pound of meth under my front seat, under my feet, in my passenger seat?
Just one.
Is that Mr. Abney?
Yes.
In your experience, what does it take for someone to tell you that they have drugs in their car?
Objection.
Overruled.
In your experience.
Brought it up. Good.
What usually has to happen before someone tells you they have drugs in their car?
They have to know that it's in their in the car.
Do you ask them a question?
Do I ask them if it's in the car?
Yeah, like do you ask them, do you have anything in the car I should know about?
Typically, I would ask that question, yes.
And is that typically when you get the response, yeah, I've got something in my center console?
Yes.
Did you ask Mr. Abney any of those questions in this case?
I did not.
In fact, you had no idea what was in the car, is that fair?
I had no idea.
Aside from a gun in the glove box.
At that point in time, that was the only thing that I did know about.
Now, Mr. Engel asked you about other indicators of trafficking that you might look for. Baggies, scales, ledgers. In your experience, are those always present in cars when you find drugs? Do you also find baggies or scales?
Sometimes, but no, not all the time.
Where did Mr. Abney tell you he and Molly were traveling that day? Where were they going?
They were going
They were going home.
I listened, paid attention.
And I believe you told Mr. Engel it was your understanding that they were coming from a drug transaction.
Our belief was that they were coming from a drug transaction, correct?
Tell us more about that.
Now the firearms. Mr. Engel repeatedly asked you if you knew who owned the firearms. Did it matter who owned the firearms?
No.
He told you Miss Wilson was a convicted felon. You knew that, correct?
Correct.
Mr. Abney is also a convicted felon, correct?
Correct, yes.
Did you know that? Who did you know was in the car as you were behind it on Jamaica Road before you pulled it over?
At the time, we believed it was at least Molly. And I don't know that we knew anybody else was in the car.
But to be fair, you didn't know Molly was driving. You believed Molly was driving.
Believed, correct.
And you said you knew Mr. Abney to be an associate of Miss Wilson?
His name was brought up as a close associate with Molly.
And we hear on your body cam, how quickly did you learn he was a convicted felon?
As soon as she got out of the vehicle, Deputy Bill Meyer, within seconds, told me, hey, she said that he is a convicted felon.
And they were both detained.
Correct.
Did you do anything different on this traffic stop and vehicle search than you have on any other traffic stops and vehicle searches?
No.
Do you ever swab for touch DNA on drugs?
I've never swabbed for touch DNA on drugs.
Do you ever take fingerprints off of drugs?
No.
Was this your investigation?
No, it was the Warren County Drug Task Force's.
Are you the one who sent the drugs and the guns off to the lab?
No.
And are you the one who took any further steps to determine the veracity of what Mr. Abney had told you?
Aside from bringing them to the detectives to be interviewed, no.
Because that's not your role. Is that fair?
Correct.
I want to hear more about how they
Did
knew
Mr. Abney
Molly was in the car with
do or
drugs.
say anything on this at the scene of the traffic stop to lead you to believe that he was not being truthful?
No.
And Mr. Engel pointed out he yelled out to Molly that he loved her. Was that surprising to you?
No.
I have no further questions.
Recross?
Nothing further on that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for the trooper, please introduce them in writing. Remember my instructions at the beginning. Do not put in any identifying information on the card. Everyone must turn in a card. If you don't have any questions, simply put none or no questions, and do not discuss or display any proposed question with any other member of the jury.
All right, we go to private while those get gathered up and get reviewed. I'm hoping one of the questions from the jury is that, who told you? How did you know that Molly was in the car? Why did you suspect she had drugs in the car? Tell us more about that investigation. Because defendant, as soon as he was in cuffs back at the police car, he's like, who told? This had to have been set up. How'd you know? How'd you know? It wasn't just like, oh, you happened to be driving down this back road and see a car and pull us over and oops, wow, you just came from a drug buy. Who snitched? I'm not sure what the judge will allow as far as questions go that way, but I think it would be allowed because it's been brought up so much. I think it might not be relevant, but why did defense not ask that? Probably because it doesn't matter. He testified he was asked to stop the vehicle. I presume it was from the drug detectives. Yeah. The longer this break is right here, typically the more questions were submitted. Not all of them get asked, though. The judge does rule on these questions individually, just like he does on questions from the attorneys. And in this particular court, the jury only gets one round of asking questions. They don't get to ask questions, then ask questions as a result of the answers to those questions. So get all your questions out now, jury members. Let Legally Blonde ask her questions, too. Judge, I've got a few. I just want to go ahead and hand these up as well. Yeah. Let's see. Yes, we've just started the afternoon feed just a little bit ago. The defense has asked, has cross-examined the first witness. We're anticipating only 2 witnesses from the prosecution on this trial. I think it was high. Took the fall for his girlfriend. Here we go.
All right, Trooper, the members of the jury have a few questions. I'll read them to you. You'll answer. The attorneys may have some follow-up questions for you. Okay, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What did Molly say about the drugs?
I would have to rewatch the video. I don't know that I asked her questions about the drugs. I know that she was taken to be interviewed by the detectives, so she was interviewed by them and they would have a better answer for that.
Did you ask Molly or Mr. Abney about the presence of the hidden firearm?
I do believe that they were, I believe that they were told that it was there, but at that point I knew that they were going to be interviewed by detectives, and that was they could be interviewed by them to do all the questions like that.
Why was Mr. Abney's name not on the report and only Molly's?
Again, I gave everything to the Warren County Drug Task Force. It's their investigation, so they sent them into the lab, so that would be a question for them.
Why were the bullets from the scene not in the evidence box?
Again, that would be a question for the Warren County Drug Task Force. They packaged it as evidence. It was given over to the lieutenant on scene for the task force. They took the evidence from there.
All right. Any questions based on the jury's questions?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. All right, Trooper, you may step down. Thank you.
Thank
Call
you,
your next
Your Honor.
witness.
Detective Greg Spannel. May we approach briefly, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, well, we go sidebar for one more.
Hang on a second, Justin. I think I know what she's going to ask me.
We go sidebar. What are you going to ask? What are you going to ask? Jury's asking some good questions. What did Molly say it was her gun? Did Molly say those were her drugs? And why is Molly, I guess, is Molly being charged as well? The same thing. Legally Blonde said Molly was in the hallway of the court, outside the court, waiting possibly as a witness, which means she's either out on bail or she's not been charged, one of the two. Yeah, for safety reasons, the bullets don't go in the same box as the gun to be given to the jury. Caleb says Molly was very good, friendly. Awesome. Thumbs up.
Camera's locked.
Hopefully the detective can answer some of those questions we have.
Swear to affirm the testimony you're giving this proceeding, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Can I have a seat?
All right.
There's water if you need it, and that's a
Thank
you.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Could you please tell us your name and spell your last name for the record?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Greg Spannel. It's S-P-A-N-E-L.
And where are you currently employed?
I'm employed with the Lebanon Police Department here in Lebanon, Ohio, and I'm currently assigned to the Warren County Drug Task Force.
How long have you been assigned to the Warren County Drug Task Force?
I've been assigned to the task force for a total of about 11 or 12 years.
And what are your job duties and responsibilities as a member of the Warren County Drug Task Force?
Yes, ma'am. I investigate mid to high-level drug traffickers here in Warren County and surrounding areas.
They locked the camera.
Within that capacity, I also articulate search warrants for houses, vehicles, cell phones, and then also I utilize confidential informants to conduct confidential informant buys. And then I also work in an undercover capacity to purchase drugs myself directly from those who sell drugs.
So is it fair to say you've been conducting drug investigations for a long period of time?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to turn your attention to December of last year.
Okay.
In December of last year, December of 2024, were you familiar with individuals by the name of Molly Wilson and Jerry Abney?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you know Molly and Jerry's relationship to be? How were they connected?
Boyfriend, girlfriend.
And did you have an active, ongoing investigation related to Molly Wilson and Jerry Abney.
That's correct, I did.
Who was the primary target of that investigation?
That would be simultaneously, it was Molly Wilson and Jerry Abney. And as the investigation unfolded, it went more towards Mr. Abney.
And I want to turn your attention specifically to December 19th of 2024.
Okay.
Did you have an occasion to observe Molly Wilson and Jerry Abney on that date?
Which date was that?
December 19th of
Yes, ma'am.
2024. And how did you interviewed them at some point that day, correct?
That's correct.
Did you know of their activity earlier in the day?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell the jury about that activity you observed earlier in the day.
Yes, ma'am. Utilizing investigative techniques, including physical surveillance and remote surveillance, I was able to observe Molly Wilson and Jerry Abney travel to Dayton, Ohio. Once up there, I observed Molly Wilson driving the vehicle, Mr. Abney as the front seat passenger. Once they got up there, I was able to observe a black male, unidentified black male in a well-known drug area, approach Miss Wilson's vehicle on the passenger side, which would be Mr. Abney's side, and conduct what I believe to be a hand-to-hand drug transaction.
Based on that observation of that suspected drug activity, did you ask that the Ohio State Highway Patrol attempt to stop that vehicle?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Is that standard practice in your drug investigations?
Sure.
Do you drive around in a marked police car wearing a uniform?
No, ma'am.
Are you able to conduct traffic stops?
No, ma'am.
You rely on the highway patrol for that purpose, correct?
That's correct.
And so did you become aware that that vehicle was in fact stopped?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you aware of what was subsequently located in that vehicle on that traffic stop?
Yes, ma'am.
We've heard Trooper Valentine say repeatedly that he took, or that both Molly Wilson and Jerry Abney were transported to the Warren County Sheriff's Office for an interview. Was that interview with you?
That's correct.
And what was the purpose of that interview?
There was a few reasons for the interview. Most importantly, to gather information about the drug transaction that I had just observed up in Dayton, Ohio. I wanted to know more about that and possibly more about the drug trafficking activities of Jerry Abney and Molly Wilson.
And when they were brought to the Warren County Sheriff's Office,
Jolene,
were they placed in the
welcome.
same interview room?
No, ma'am.
And
Alicia
who
and
did you
Horses,
speak with
welcome.
first?
18 months.
I believe I spoke to Mr. Abney first.
And you said you were aware of what had been located in the vehicle.
Correct.
And what was your understanding of what was located in the vehicle on the traffic stop?
Approximately 1 pound of methamphetamine and 2 firearms.
Had you weighed the methamphetamine when you met with Mr. Abney?
No, ma'am.
Do you see Jerry Abney in the courtroom today?
I do.
Could you please point him out, identify something he's wearing?
Mr. Abney's sitting next to his defense counsel in a light, I believe, a light purple shirt and reading glasses.
Identify the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honor. And is it fair to say you spoke to Mr. Abney for a somewhat extended period of time? Half hour, a little over a half hour maybe?
That's fair. Yes, ma'am.
And you spoke about a wide range of topics.
That's correct.
I want to focus specifically on statements he made about the traffic stop, the guns, and the drugs.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's start with the firearm inside the glove box.
Okay.
That was found by Trooper Valentine. What, if anything, did Mr. Abney tell you about that firearm and his knowledge of how it got there?
He stated that when he noticed the lights and sirens behind him, they were being stopped by law enforcement, that he placed the firearm from his person into the glove box.
Did he indicate where on his person it had been?
I believe in a holster, maybe in the back of his pants, I believe.
Okay, but like on his belt?
Yes, ma'am.
So he told you he is the one that had placed it in the glove box?
Correct.
What if anything, did he say about the second gun that was found behind the glove box?
He had forgotten that he had put it back there before, and he seemed genuinely surprised that it was back there. But he did state that he put it back there before because him and Molly got into some altercation with some other people, and he put it in there for safety.
But he told you he put it there.
Correct.
Who was the driver of the vehicle, or the owner of the vehicle, if you know that they were in that day?
That was Molly Wilson's vehicle.
And based on your investigation and your knowledge of Mr. Abney and Miss Wilson, were they both frequently in that vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it their primary mode of transportation?
That's correct.
Are you aware Mr. Abney had a vehicle?
No, ma'am.
He did not, or you don't know?
I do not know.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 15.
Okay.
And this is the lab report from the crime lab related to the guns. Is that fair?
That is fair. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, did you package the guns? I can pull the boxes out for you to look at them. Did you package them for them to be sent once they were brought into the Warren County Drug Task Force?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you send the ammunition up with it? Is that your standard practice?
It is not.
Why is that?
Because the laboratory will utilize their own ammunition.
Okay. So you sent them up there. What's the purpose of sending them up to the lab?
So that the lab can test the gun to see if it's in working order.
And were both guns found to be in working order?
Yes, ma'am, they were.
Now, at the top of that report, who's the subject of the investigation?
Molly Wilson.
Why does that say Molly Wilson and not Jerry Abney?
It says Molly Wilson for a couple reasons. One, it was her vehicle, and two, when the case was initially opened in our in-house system, we put multiple people if there's multiple suspects, and Molly Wilson was the first name that was put into that investigation.
Now, did you know whether the defendant was a convicted felon?
Yes.
Did you know that when you interviewed him?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you discuss with him why he had firearms if he was a convicted felon?
Yes, ma'am.
What did he tell you about why he carried firearms?
Quite bluntly, he said he liked them, he likes to collect them, and I believe for safety also.
Did you know Molly Wilson to be a convicted felon?
Yes.
Did the defendant acknowledge that fact to you as you were interviewing him?
Yes, ma'am.
So is it fair to say nobody in that vehicle should have been around firearms?
That's fair to say.
Let's talk about the drugs for a little bit.
Okay.
What did Mr. Abney tell you about the drugs?
Mr. Abney stated that he had just purchased the methamphetamine from an individual in Dayton, Ohio, which confirmed what I observed. We talked a little bit further about it. Mr. Abney stated that he was on his way to sell it to another individual in Middletown, Ohio. And even further, Mr. Abney and I spoke in length a little bit about the price of the methamphetamine. And the price that Mr. Abney gave me was consistent from my training experience of what a pound of methamphetamine would cost.
So did he identify the substance that the drugs were?
Yes, ma'am.
As what?
Methamphetamine.
And did he identify the weight of the substance?
That's correct, yes, ma'am.
And what did he say the weight was?
1 pound.
Did he tell you where he got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Where was that?
Up in Dayton, where I observed him.
That was consistent with what he told you about where he got it. Was that consistent with where you had observed the suspected drug transaction?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he tell you what he was going to do with it?
Yes, ma'am.
And who was he going to sell it to? Not a name, but did he give you a location?
An individual in Middletown, Ohio.
Did he tell you how much he paid for it?
Yes, ma'am.
How much did he pay for it?
He paid $1,800 for it.
Now I want to talk about methamphetamine for a little bit.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had experience buying methamphetamine?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
And have you, are you familiar with the street names for it? How much it goes for? How much people use typically? Things like that.
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
Misconduct. Thank you very much, OG.
Is that because
30
you've been
months,
doing
get feeling
investigations
better.
of this nature for over a decade?
That would be correct.
It's a lot of personal use.
Mr. Abney said he had a pound of meth.
Yes.
In your experience, what is a personal use amount of methamphetamine?
Personal use, from my experience, would be anywhere from 1 gram to maybe a 1/4 ounce, which would be 7 grams of methamphetamine.
And in your experience, how much does the average consumer of methamphetamine purchase at a time?
I would say that much. It's a cycle of addiction, so I would say small amounts are always mostly related to addiction.
And how frequently might one purchase that small amount of methamphetamine?
Specifically meth, it would be every day.
Now I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 16, which is the lab report related to the drugs.
Okay.
What is the weight of the bag of methamphetamine located at Jerry Abney's feet on December 19th of 2024?
That was 444.5 grams of methamphetamine, a Schedule II drug.
So if the average user uses 1 gram to 7 grams, is that a day or at a sitting?
That would be a day. It could be more, it could be less, but
Okay.
not much more, not much less.
Okay, so let's go with the gram a day.
Okay.
That's between like 50 and
444
650
grams of methamphetamine is over a year's worth of methamphetamine.
daily doses.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, how much, when somebody buys their daily amount of methamphetamine, 1 gram to 7 grams, how much are they paying for that?
A small amount. Methamphetamine prices come down a lot over recent years. Per gram, you're maybe looking at $10 a gram. Per 8 ball, which would be 3.5 grams, you would look at somewhere between $40. A 1/4 ounce is going to run you about 60 to 80. Then as you work your way up, you start getting into the drug trafficking amounts. The price, you do get price breaks on it because you're buying more. In this particular case, an ounce, for example, 1 ounce would cost someone who sells drugs roughly $110 to $125 an ounce, and 1 ounce is 28 grams. In this case, there were close to 16 ounces.
And you said that Jerry told you he bought it for $1,800.
Yes, ma'am.
Did he then go on to have a conversation with you about the changing price of a pound of methamphetamine?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please tell the jury about that conversation?
Yes, ma'am. Me and Jerry talked about this price because from my training experience, when you receive a pound or you're able to buy a pound of methamphetamine for $1,800, what that means is you're 1 or 2 people removed from the top of the supply chain in that area. And the reason that you get a price like that is which would be a good price, which is about $125 an ounce, is because you are a reliable customer. You're going to get a better price the more you buy and the more frequently you buy it from the next drug dealer up.
Did you ask Jerry if he intended to sell this entire pound of methamphetamine to one person?
Yes, ma'am.
What was his answer?
He said yes.
Did that surprise you?
Yes.
Why?
From my training experience, those who sell or obtain large amounts of methamphetamine, and like I testified a few minutes ago, this is a daily occurrence. So the price is so low that if you're going to actually make money from it, you have to sell a lot of it. Not only do you have to sell a lot of it, you have to sell it often. And then with the methamphetamine, because it is consumed relatively quickly and the price is cheap, 1 pound of methamphetamine, being a large level drug dealer, and having multiple people beneath you to purchase large amounts of methamphetamine is the way that you would make money. You're not going to make money by a lot of money at all by just selling it all in one chunk.
And did Mr. Abney indicate to you how frequently he purchases that amount or turns around that amount of methamphetamine?
I don't recall. I do know that he was going to sell it to one person, which I didn't necessarily agree with.
Did you talk at all about Molly Wilson during your conversation with Mr. Abney?
Yes, ma'am.
What, if anything, did he tell you about Miss Wilson's involvement with what was happening that night?
Mr. Abney stated that Miss Wilson was not selling methamphetamine, and she was aware of his drug trafficking activities, but had begged him to stop, or wanted him to stop. Yes, she was aware of it, but that she wasn't selling herself.
And how does someone who's going to sell off or kind of split up a pound of methamphetamine, how do they prepare that to sell it off? Do they weigh it, put it in baggies? How does that work?
Yes, ma'am. You would take the bag that you purchased. We call it breaking it down. So you would get whatever. If someone called to ask you for meth, you would weigh that much out. You would put it in another sandwich baggie or baggie, and then sell it to them.
And did Mr. Abney indicate whether Miss Wilson was involved in any of those activities with him?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, Sloth Life, for the gifted membership.
When you were speaking with Mr. Abney, did you believe him to be under the influence of anything?
No, ma'am.
Was he cooperative with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Was he polite?
Yes, ma'am.
Was he forthcoming?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it fair to say that he was somewhat somber?
That's fair. Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you swab the drugs for DNA?
No, ma'am.
Is that standard practice?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Is standard practice to swab or not to swab?
Not to swab.
Why is that?
Well, there are several reasons. The most glaring one would be the Miami Valley Regional Crime Lab that we utilize to test our drugs does not conduct touch DNA on drug cases.
And so, is it even possible for you to swab DNA and send it off?
On a drug case?
On a drug case.
No, ma'am.
Did you take fingerprints off the bag?
No, ma'am.
Is that standard practice to take fingerprints?
No, ma'am.
Why is that?
There's, again, talking about a sandwich baggie, there's several individuals that can touch a baggie through the course of a baggie's life, depending on what that baggie's life would be, and it's just not something we ever do.
How long is a baggie?
Did you ever try to determine who owned the firearms?
Yes, ma'am.
Like the registered owner, if that's even a thing?
I did not. No, ma'am.
Doesn't matter who owned the firearms. Who was the owner of record?
No, it's part of my drug investigation and further investigation. I'm more concerned about who was in possession of a firearm and if they were allowed to be in possession of a firearm.
And Mr. Abney admitted to you on multiple occasions he was in fact in possession of a firearm?
Yes, ma'am.
When Mr. Abney told you that Molly had nothing to do with this, do you necessarily believe what he was telling you?
No, ma'am.
Did he give you any reason to believe? Did he give you any reason to believe he was not involved in this?
No, ma'am.
Did everything he tell you align with what was found in the vehicle?
What was found in the vehicle? Yes, ma'am.
And with what you observed earlier in the night at the drug transaction?
That's correct.
And you observed Mr. Abney in the vehicle at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
If I could have just a second, Your Honor.
Okay.
And you said you spoke with Molly, correct?
I did.
What was her demeanor while you were speaking with her?
Somewhat somber, like Mr. Abney. I think they understood what type of scenario they were in.
And did you necessarily believe everything she told you?
No, ma'am.
All right, ready for cross?
If I could have just a second, Your Honor.
Okay.
You don't have anyone to consult with other than the other investigator. So check your notes. We're stuck on this camera as long as this witness is on the stand because he is undercover. They're protecting his identity.
Let's talk about Molly first.
Okay.
And let's work backwards.
Okay.
You said that Mr. Abney told you that Molly was not selling meth and she wanted him to stop, right?
Not selling meth, yes, sir.
Okay, and you knew that was not a true statement?
Correct.
Okay. And just so we're clear, it's not unusual for people to say things to you in interviews that aren't necessarily true, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And so this particular statement you knew specifically was not true?
I believed it not to be true, yes, sir.
More than believed it, I mean, you actually witnessed an undercover operation where Miss Wilson sold drugs to a confidential informant on December 10th of 24.
That's correct.
Just 9 days before this.
Correct.
Okay. And Mr. Abney wasn't with her at that time?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He was.
Okay. Well, may I approach, Your Honor?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Okay. I'm handing you what is a surveillance log from the Greater Warren County Drug Task Force. Are you familiar with that document?
I am.
And can you tell the jury what that document is?
A log is a rough estimate of when we do an operation, when someone logs what they believe are important times during that drug transaction.
Okay, and it's important to know who was there at that drug transaction, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that report, who's listed as the target in that report?
The target would be Molly Wilson.
Okay, and it lists all the officers involved there?
That's correct.
Okay, 8 different people?
Correct.
Including you there, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it lists the location of the buy?
Correct.
Lists Molly's address?
Correct.
Okay, a case number?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it indicates that where she was and the confidential informant went there?
Yes, sir.
And lots of details, right? Every minute almost about what's happening during that transaction.
Correct.
Okay, and mentions who's with the confidential informant there beforehand and who's after.
That's correct.
Detective Baker's on the target vehicle.
That's correct.
And so where's Mr. Abney on this report?
Mr. Abney's not on this report.
Okay. And you knew Miss Wilson had a history of convictions for drug trafficking, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me see the documents in here. Can I approach you now?
Yes.
So as part of your investigation, you would look up Miss Wilson's criminal history, right?
I was familiar with it.
Okay.
But
So-
yes, sir, you would look up that information.
Okay, so let's look at tab H there.
Got it.
That's her criminal history?
No, sir.
Okay, what is that?
That's her jail bookends.
Okay.
It's not an official account of a drug history.
Okay, but this is something you might use during the course of your investigation?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. And it includes like the disposition of cases, so whether they're convicted or not?
This does not.
It does not? What about that comma that says DISP?
Some would indicate convicted, some say dismissed, some say unmatched code, which you wouldn't know.
Okay.
Some just say bound over. So this is not a reliable document to articulate somebody's criminal history.
Okay, but you were aware, for example, that she had previously been convicted for carrying concealed weapons?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you were aware that she had been convicted for possession of drugs?
That's correct.
You were aware that she had been convicted for trafficking drugs?
That's correct.
Which is why she was the target of your investigation.
That's correct.
So she's the one who's listed, for example, on those lab reports that we saw as the subject.
That's correct.
And on both of the lab reports that were sent there. And she's also, if you turn to tab D.
Thank you, Kim.
Listed on the evidence submission form, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, may I publish this to the jury?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right way. Can you tell folks what that is?
That's an evidence submission form to the Miami Valley Regional Crime Lab.
Okay, and there's a section there that says subjects, right?
Yes,
And there's an S there, plural, so you can put more than one person there.
that's correct.
And whose name did you put there?
I put Molly Wilson.
Okay, you didn't put Mr. Abney there, right?
No, sir.
And then there's another evidence submission form for the same day. Tab E.
Yes,
Whose name is
sir.
listed there?
That's Molly Wilson.
Okay, and Mr. Abney's not there.
That's correct.
Okay, and there's room to put him there if you wanted to.
Yeah, there's room there. Yes, sir.
And we talked about that transaction that occurred on the 10th of December, tab F. Whose name is on that?
That's Molly Wilson.
And Mr. Abney's not there again.
He is not there again.
So now when we started on the 19th, you were following Miss Wilson's car, right?
That's correct.
And you followed her car with what you believe was her driving it up to Dayton, you said.
That's correct.
And by the way, do you have a copy of the report that you did on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have a copy with you? Or do you need me to-
Oh, no.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
That's the report you did about this incident on the 19th?
Yes, this is a report which is different than the log.
Right, and so the report, again, you trained as a police officer, right?
Yes.
Okay, it's important to include all the important details in a report?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that you can come into court and know what happened?
That's
And
correct.
report to everyone? I don't know if you have like the trooper's attention to detail, is that an important thing for you guys too?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first thing I note, by the way, is you got the date wrong, right? It says the first line is December 19th, 2025?
Yeah, that's incorrect.
Okay, it was 2024, right?
That's correct.
So right away, the first line, we got a
Got a
lack of
problem.
attention to detail, right?
Yes, sir. Got a problem.
Okay. But that happens. So,
Yeah.
But I note some other things that are missing in there. So you said you saw what you believe was a drug transaction going up in Dayton, right?
Correct.
Now it's not illegal to drive to Dayton, right?
It's not illegal. No, sir.
It's not illegal to talk to friends in Dayton.
No, sir.
Okay. Did you see any money change hands?
No, sir.
Okay. And you noted that in your report, right? You didn't see any money change hands.
That's correct.
Okay. Did you see any actual drug change in hands?
No, sir.
Okay. So all you know is that you had a person drive up to Dayton and then start to drive home.
No, sir.
Okay. Well, that's all it says in this report here, right?
I would respectfully disagree with that.
Okay, you said the vehicle entered the street and a black male walked over to it and got inside. Nothing illegal about that, right?
Well, I think you're leaving a couple things out.
What am I leaving out?
The fact that when they pulled onto the street, I observed a black male on his cell phone walking up and down the street, which from my training experience as someone who was a lookout. After that, a vehicle then came onto the street. That black male who was, I believe, as the lookout, walked to that vehicle.
Okay, so where do you mention lookout in this report? I don't see the word lookout in there anywhere, do you?
Well, I mean, your semantics of words. I didn't say lookout, but it clearly says individual on his cell phone walking up and down the street.
Okay, but if this is important, that they're a lookout, and you're telling the jury it's lookout, why didn't you include that in your report?
Because I didn't need to use the word lookout in the report. I articulated what I saw in the report. Didn't need to articulate what I'm going to call that individual, which would be a lookout. I can do that. I can do that now for the court.
So now you're doing. So now you're going to include information that you didn't include.
I'm going to articulate that from my report. This individual is a lookout.
Let me be clear. You didn't use the word lookout in your report, right?
There's not the word lookout in this report.
Okay. So all you have in your report is that you saw someone with a cell phone. You see people driving up there. You see a black male in there, right?
Yes.
Okay. You don't describe the race of the Mr. Wilson anywhere, or Miss Wilson on here anywhere, do you?
No.
You don't describe the race of Mr. Abney there, right?
No.
You're only noting when people are black in your report.
Objection.
Sustained. Caught, Mr. Engel. Careful there.
So you're up there in Dayton. You don't mention any. You don't mention word lookout. You don't mention any drugs in that paragraph, right?
No, sir.
Okay. And then you asked, after they left the scene, you asked the troopers to stop the car.
That's correct.
Okay. And were you there when they stopped the car?
I was.
Okay. Now, when they stopped the car, the troopers found, that's where they found the guns and the drugs, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And you were aware that Mr. Abney said that that they were his?
That's correct.
Okay. He also a couple times said, "I love you" to Molly, right?
I don't know.
He did.
I do not know.
What efforts did you make to determine whether it was Mr. Abney or Miss Wilson who were responsible for the drugs?
Again, my own observations. Prior to the traffic stop, my interview was with Mr. Abney when he stated those are my drugs.
Okay. And again, I think we said before, it's not unusual for people to not be completely truthful with you, right?
Yeah, it's not unusual.
So you have to corroborate what they're saying, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Did you, I think you indicated, you didn't check fingerprints on the bag, right?
That's correct.
You didn't check for DNA.
We don't check for DNA.
Okay, you didn't do it.
We don't check for it. It's not that I didn't do it.
It's that's a technology you've heard of,
well,
right?
Your indication is that I failed to do so.
No, I'm just asking you if you did it or not.
No.
Okay. And you didn't check for residue on his hands?
No, sir.
You didn't check for residue on his clothing?
No, sir.
You didn't check for residue on Molly's hands?
No, sir.
You didn't check for residue on Molly's clothing?
No, sir.
You didn't compare the chemical composition of the drugs that were purchased on this day with what Molly had purchased back 9 days before?
That Molly had purchased?
I'm sorry, had sold 9 days before.
Mr. Abney sold on that date.
On the 10th?
Yes.
We just talked about this. Mr. Abney's name is nowhere in that log report that you had there, right?
Did you pull up the buy report? You pulled up the buy report on one, but not the other.
I'm pulling up what was given to me, and I didn't see Mr. Abney's name there.
I'm sure you were given the buy report.
Mr. Abney?
Getting spicy.
Again.
Mr. Abney came to the vehicle, came out of the house, and supplied my confidential informant with methamphetamine.
Which is not mentioned at all in that log report.
It's mentioned in my buy report.
So your claim that your buy report is different than your log report?
Yes.
Even though it's important to include everything that's important in that log report?
If I would have conducted the log, I would have put it in there. I did not conduct the log. I conducted the buy report. The buy report indicates Mr. Abney sold to the confidential informant.
Okay, but that log, just so we're clear, the log report doesn't have his name anywhere on it.
It does not, but the buy report does.
The log report doesn't.
It does not, but the buy report does.
You gotta love
now,
this. Wow.
We also didn't see any scales in the car, right?
No, sir.
No extra baggies in the car?
No, sir.
Did you take his cell phone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you perform an analysis of that cell phone?
I did not.
Did you recover? So you didn't recover any text messages indicating drug trafficking?
No, sir.
No, you didn't recover any call logs indicating he's speaking to folks about drugs?
No, sir.
You weren't aware of any social media posts that appeared to be related to drug activity?
No, sir.
Nothing about setting up meeting locations?
Through his cell phone?
Yeah.
No, sir.
You didn't recover any of that information at all?
No, sir.
You didn't recover any cash in the car, right?
No, sir.
One moment, Your Honor.
We need to see the buyer report. Got spicy there for a second. No cash in the car because they just gave it to the guy they bought the drugs from, and they still have the drugs. The cash shows up when they sell the drugs. Did he say that the unidentified male was an informant? Did he just tell? Is that what I heard? Or maybe the person he was selling it to is the informant. Ten days earlier, they sold to the informant. I'm wondering if that informant was the one person they were selling to, because it seems weird for him to have that extra middleman in there.
May I approach, Ron?
Yes.
Now, you did an affidavit to the court describing that December 10th incident, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, when you did that affidavit to the court, you said that you had a confidential informant contact Wilson and asked to purchase a bulk amount of meth, right?
That's correct.
Wilson agreed and directed the CI to Franklin, Ohio.
That's correct.
Your affiant, that's you, right?
That's correct.
You had an operation report.
That's correct.
With other members of the drug task force.
That's correct.
You met the CI at the predetermined location.
That's correct.
Once there, the CI was searched for illegal contraband. Nothing was located.
That's correct.
Standard practice, right?
Correct.
CI was outfitted with a wireless transmitter.
Correct.
For safety in court, right?
Yes.
Okay. You said Wilson directed the CI to the area of Pine Street and Lake Avenue, right?
Correct.
Pre-surveillance units were able to observe Wilson and her Honda Accord parked on that side of the street.
Correct.
Right? Once the CI was in the same area, Wilson called and directed the CI to follow her.
Correct.
Wilson traveled to the area of 613 Franklin Avenue.
Correct.
Spring Avenue in Franklin. Once there, the CI and Wilson exited their vehicle.
Correct.
Wilson then supplied the CI with meth, and the CI supplied her with the buy money.
Correct.
CI left the area, and Wilson walked into a residence.
That's correct.
Where does it mention Mr. Abney in that paragraph?
It does not.
Do you want to refresh your testimony about whether Mr. Abney was involved in that incident on December 10th?
I do not.
So it's still your testimony that he was there, even though in the affidavit you filed with this court, you didn't mention him at all?
I did not mention him because I was filing an affidavit for Miss Wilson's car. But in my buy report, it clearly states that he supplied the CI. Miss Wilson, from my training experience and from the hundreds of drug deals I've conducted throughout the years, was involved in that drug deal. She utilized her vehicle in that drug deal. So I articulated to the court that she utilized her vehicle for a drug deal. There was no need to mention Mr. Abney because I was trying to get a affidavit for Miss Wilson's vehicle.
She was the one who actually called, she more than just used her vehicle, right? She actually was the one who spoke to the CI, gave him the drugs, took the money.
Directed her to follow her to 613 Spring Avenue where Jerry Abney exited the residence and supplied the CI with methamphetamine. They both conducted a drug transaction on that day.
Respectfully, sir, that's not what you said in your affidavit that you signed under oath to this court. in the affidavit to the court, you wrote, Wilson then supplied the CI with meth, and the CI supplied her with the pre-recorded buy money. That's what you wrote, right?
That's correct.
That's what you signed under oath.
That's correct.
Okay.
Ms. Wilson did supply, Ms. Wilson and Mr. Abney supplied the CI with meth.
Except, then that's not what you said to the judge.
I was articulating a search warrant for the vehicle. The vehicle did not belong to Mr. Abney. In my buy report, if you would read that,
You didn't
it clearly states.
Did you attach that buy report to the affidavit you filed with the court?
No.
So you didn't include all the pertinent information about who was there.
I
You just
included
said
the pertinent-
Wilson.
I
One at a
included-
time, please.
I have nothing further.
Can I answer that? Or?
Answer the question.
I did supply the pertinent information that I believed I needed to articulate a GPS warrant for Molly Wilson's vehicle based on her activity on that date, along with the activity to get the search warrant for her vehicle.
Redirect?
Yes, briefly, thank you.
Where's that buy report? Bring it in. May I approach?
Did you believe Molly Wilson was operating alone?
No.
Did
No,
you
ma'am.
believe Jerry Abney was operating alone?
No, ma'am.
And in fact, when Jerry Abney says it's all his, Molly knew nothing about it. Did you take that at face value for what it was?
I didn't believe Molly knew nothing about it. I did believe that Mr. Abney was the one, based off his own words and actions, specifically that night, was selling and in possession of a pound of methamphetamine.
And when we're talking about the hand-to-hand transaction that you observed up in Dayton, Mr. Engel said you didn't see any money change hands, you didn't see any drugs change hands. In your experience, how does a hand-to-hand transaction work? Walk the jury through that.
Yes, ma'am. No one should see the drugs or the money exchange. If you're doing that, you've probably never bought or sold drugs before. That's another indication that that was a drug transaction because they did it in a way, from my training experience, that would conceal their activities from law enforcement.
And so the individual in Dayton approached the passenger side of the vehicle
Yes, ma'am.
and spoke to Mr. Abney.
Correct.
And
Well, I don't know if they spoke.
the only interaction at the vehicle occurred at the passenger side.
Correct.
And the drugs were then found on the passenger side.
Correct.
And the conversation that Mr. Abney had with you about the cost of the methamphetamine, in your experience, is that knowledge that would, that any person would be able to have? A conversation anyone could hold with you about the changing prices of methamphetamine?
It would indicate to me that that person is a drug trafficker.
If I could have just 1 second, Your Honor.
Everyone take a deep breath.
Was Jerry Abney a part of your investigation prior to December 19th of 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody just gurgled. It was not me.
Did you know him to be involved in drug transactions as a part of that investigation in December of 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
And did he tell you, or did anything happen on December 19th to change your opinion about his involvement in the ongoing drug trafficking investigation that involved Molly Wilson and himself?
Yes.
Explain that.
At that point in the investigation, Molly and Jerry, in my belief, worked in tandem to sell methamphetamine throughout Warren County. That night in particular made me lean more towards Jerry based on his own statements and my observation as a law enforcement officer.
Did you have a discussion with him about other dealers by name?
Yes, ma'am.
Was he familiar with the individuals you were talking about?
Yes, ma'am. Very familiar.
And did he mention individuals to you that you knew to be involved in drug trafficking?
Yes, he stated his intention for cooperation and gave me individuals' names or people that he could cooperate with us to work. Again, furthering my belief that if someone's willing to work with the Warren County Drug Task Force as an informant, they're likely a drug dealer or have access to drug dealers.
I have no further questions.
Agree, Cross?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for Detective Spaniel, please reduce them to writing. Do not discuss or display any proposed question with other members of the jury.
Okay, we're going to go into...
Sit tight, Detective.
Thank you, sir.
No,
you have more questions.
you have to sit down.
Oh, sorry.
Sit tight.
I was ready to go, sir.
I know.
Don't go anywhere yet. Going off the record briefly. While the questions come in, wow, that got spicy. Defense tried to play the same game they played with the first investigator with the detective, and it did not go so well. This detective had all the answers, and and defense could only just get angry, and they did. They got quite angry, so got a little spicy there at the end. We believe these are the only two witnesses that the prosecution is going to call, so it's very likely that the prosecution will rest after this case, or after this batch of questions is done. And with it being 3 o'clock in the afternoon, turns over to defense. I don't know, do you think we can get jury deliberating tonight? I doubt it. I don't think we're going to get to closing. Don't think it'll quite get there. We've got too much stuff to do. Of course, we've got the judgment of acquittal motion, or the Rule 29, I think they're going to call it here in Ohio, which is going to be pretty quick. We saw the world records Rule 29 JOA ruling in the last case. Is there a reason we don't see the policeman? Because he's undercover? Yes, he's actively involved in undercover work in the drug world, and so they don't show his face. But you know, the defendant sees him, and anyone can go into court and see him. Our court watcher is seeing him. We are hearing that we need to go back and watch what happened in the Soto Spencer hearing, the death penalty case out of Florida. So we might have to wander down there and do a little recap, live reaction. Hope we have a verdict today. I'm thinking tomorrow. Play on crime. I'm really not sure where you're seeing this case going, but I respectfully disagree. I think the focus is wrongly positioned. You think it should have been Molly. I don't know. If you confess to the police, I think he's taken the fall for Molly. I think this is what happens. True love meets crime charges. He's taken the fall. He admitted. He admitted, and he had information that made his admission believable. Right? He told the officer at the traffic stop, "There's a pound of meth under the passenger seat. The gun's mine." The pound of meth the officer didn't know about, so he had to have had prior knowledge. That makes it more credible of an admission. In the detective interview, he told the officer about other drug traffickers and the price of drugs and everything else. It gives extra credence to his admission that these were his drugs and he was going to sell them. He knows the price and the value and how the price has changed over time and who's buying and who's selling. If Molly set him up, he sure isn't making it very hard for her. So, I don't know. They might, I don't know, Molly still might have her own charges. I don't know. I haven't looked up her case. She might have already, had it handled. But yes, the irony of the name Molly is not lost on me. Thinking the defense lawyer is snarky. I like the snark. We've had, I think, zero objections during this trial so far? Let's see. Credence. No, I'm not talking about We've Got a Chase. extra weight to the argument, or extra weight to the allegation. Don't like the snark, says Lois. I don't like how much he's beating this issue into the ground. He's trying. The number of back and forth with the same question, same answer. It's just like, come on, guys. We hear where you're from. Just move on. Oh, there was one objection about, you're right, Jamie. And that was where the defense made an allegation or insinuated that the police were performing racial profiling or investigative work based on race. And the judge warned the defense attorney about what he was doing there. Yeah, the other report you don't have, I'm thinking the other report you don't have possibly contains identifiers of confidential informants. So it might have been ruled that one can't come in because it would identify a confidential informant. That's my thought process. I don't know for a fact.
All right, sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Members of the jury have just a few questions, and I'll read them, you'll answer them. The attorneys may have some follow-up for you, okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, the first question is actually, I'm not going to ask the question. It has to do with the buy report, and then it goes on to say why the defense does not have it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to instruct you that the defense does have a copy of the buy report. The buy report is not into evidence. It is not going to be part of the evidence, okay? So with that, I'm just letting you know that is not in evidence. It has not been identified as a exhibit, and it will not be being considered by you for evidence, but the defense does have a copy of the buy report that's been referred to.
See,
okay?
I think I'm right on that one.
The question is, was the route the defendants took back from Dayton aligned with heading to Middletown or in line with going back to their home?
It was a line of going back to their residence, which would be in Carlisle, Ohio.
Okay. What is the difference between a log and a buy report?
A log is it's a operational log. It's a surveillance log. The logs are not conducted by me. The logs are conducted by it can be someone in my office, or it can be our intelligence analyst who's working remotely on most of these buys. So they log things that we're calling out and my team's calling out on surveillance. Unfortunately, sometimes logs might not have all the pertinent information. Sometimes they line up perfectly. I wish they would line up perfectly more often. That's just not something that happens. So I did not conduct that log, or I did not put the log together. Looking at that log, there are some things I wish were in there that were not.
Okay. Any questions based on the jury's questions?
Very briefly.
Before I have you ask, any objection to the instruction I gave to the jury regarding the buy report?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Any questions?
Very briefly. The fact that their route was going to take them back to Carlisle. In your experience, do you believe Mr. Abney was going to sell that pound of meth as is in that grocery bag that it was in, or in your experience would something else potentially have happened to it before he sold it in Middletown?
Something else.
We're calling for speculation here at this point, Your Honor.
You need to lay a better foundation for the question, please. I'm going to sustain the objection. Move on.
I have no further questions.
Nothing else, Your Honor.
Detective, now you may step down. Okay. Counsel approach.
All right. I think that might be the end of the prosecution's case. We might do a quick little. Never had to do this before, but. Let me refresh this. Give me just a second here. We're going to...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 15-minute break right now. We have to do some things outside your presence, so let's do that, and then we'll come back at about, let's say, 3:25 to 3:30.
All right.
Okay, what we're going to do right now is take just a wee bit of a break. There's... hang on.
Hey,
we're going to portal.
this is just part of the record.
Okay.
We have to portal because I have to edit something out. Not our fault, but we do respect the court and what's happening. So give me a minute to...
You guys can be seated.
To do this. I think there's a judgment of acquittal that's going to happen right here, or Rule 29.
We are still on the record now outside the presence of the jury. Is the state resting after these exhibits?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's go through these exhibits. I got 1 through 5, which are photos of the Taurus. Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
6 is the is the actual firearm. Any objection?
No. No objection to any of these.
Any of the exhibits. So I have no number 10. 15 and 16 and 19 are stipulated, and number 20 was not played, correct?
Correct.
All right, so everything else is in without objection, and then the state will rest, correct?
Yes.
All right, and it's my understanding, let's go over jury instructions. The defendant is not going to testify?
He is not, and before I forget, Your Honor, we would make a motion under Rule 29.
Go ahead.
Rule 29.
I know the court knows the standard. If there's anything in particular you wish me to address, I'll do so. Otherwise,
No, if you're just going to submit it, I think, based upon the standard of Rule 29, I have to construe the evidence most strongly in favor of the state, and I will overrule the objection at this point. Okay?
That's quick.
I'm sorry, I'm going to deny the motion. I'm just... Go ahead.
Well, motion, we understand. The motion's been denied. Yeah. The defendant is not going to testify. We're just going to offer, I think, exhibits D, E, and F. What were marked in the binder is those. We'll pull them out of these folders here.
What is D, E, and F?
These were the evidence submission forms.
Any objection?
No.
Okay, D, E, and F will be admitted without objection. Okay, let's talk about the instructions of law. We talked about...
We're going to skip to this part, okay? We're going to skip this part because we're going to hear this being read to the jury anyway. So we're going to go back and get this. But because the court accidentally showed someone they were not supposed to, and we've taken the court feed, got that as well, we're going to go back and edit that out. So if you'll give me just a minute to do that. And anyone trying to post pictures of this on our streams or something, that's a quick way to earn yourself a big timeout. Like permanent. We don't do that. If you want to get my blacklist, that's what you do. So let's respect the courts. All right, tonight when you go home, please have the people you love, smile, someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe. We'll have you in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes max, maybe 2 minutes. And let's portal. Let's get this done. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Jumping back to court in just a minute. We'll see ya.